Hello everyone, my name is Hoshizora Akari and today we are continuing playing this lovely game, Twin Beast. Sorry for not streaming for such a long time. As I said on my previous stream, I was going to be quite busy in the following 2 or 3 weeks. Well, I said that I would be very busy in the following 1 week, but in the end, it ended up being 2 weeks, or even more, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so anyway, and yeah, oh, yeah, that's right, I need to tweet about it. Okay, now the stream is on, so I hope that everything is okay. Alright, let's wait for more people to come. Let's wait for more people to come. Let's wait for more people to come. 1 second. Alright, the stream seems to be okay. I hope that everything works just fine. Well, as far as I can see, the load on my memory is still quite high, but I somehow managed to fix the problems with the sound, so I hope it will be okay. And now, as far as I can see, there are no people right now, so maybe let's wait a bit more. Or maybe we can just continue. If I see that someone appeared here, I think that we can have a small talk about something. Alright, so let's continue. Alright. So, on the last stream, we finished reading the second chapter. Well, we haven't finished the second chapter yet, but we are definitely at the end of the chapter. So, in the second chapter, we had an encounter with the nymph, or a fairy. I don't know how to correctly call her, but yeah, she was the nymph of the forest who lured many people into the forest. Well, she was kind of dependent on some really nasty creature, which was a big tree consisting of adventurers' bodies or something like that, and which contained those adventurers' souls, and it was really, really nasty, like the nastiest shit I've ever seen. Well, it's a bit of a exaggeration because, well, I've seen much of nasty shit in my life, but sorry. My throat doesn't feel very good today. Let me drink some tea. Okay, and that's better. So, we have encountered that nymph who was very horny and very mischievous and very beautiful. And in the end, she tried to lure us into that nasty place where that creature was. And yeah, and we defeated her. We defeated the tree. We defeated the nymph, and she turned in. She kind of resurrected and turned into a small fairy, a small shitty fairy, very cute one. Sorry. Okay. Right, I had some problems with my throat. And let's continue reading. So far there are no people, as far as I can see. Again, yeah. But probably it's okay. You can always watch the VOD. Alright. After spending all the day... Oh, yeah, and I forgot to say that we, after our party arrived at some small village and had a conversation with a lovely grandmother who told them that that the world around is in chaos. It's been a war, a very bloody war, and everything is ruined now. So the protagonist's village, which was isolated by that terrifying forest, is actually doing good, thanks to that forest, although it sounds a bit cursed. Well, anyway, and now we see some scene from the eyes of the elder sister of our protagonist, who is kidnapped. All right, so let's continue. After spending all the daylight hours in bed, in the deep sulk that followed in the wake of shock and dismay, lapsing in and out of bouts of fitful half-sleep, I can no longer lie still. It won't do to show my captors any more weakness. I pull myself out of the nest I made in the luxurious bedding and squint in the semi-darkness at my new clothes. They certainly aren't much, but they're all I've got for now. How exactly am I supposed to wear these? Oh, After some difficulty getting dressed, I emerged from my quarters into a round, windowless room, decked out in a similarly ostentatious fashion. Lounging around on pillows, or plucking idly at exotic-looking musical instruments, were a number of young women dressed similarly to myself. That is to say, hardly dressed at all. By the way, I must mention that this chapter, or this part, the part of this chapter 2 is called harem. So yeah, it's quite a... I can't find a correct word to describe this, but some hot stuff, I hope. No, I don't hope. Because, yeah, I feel sorry for Bronwyn. I'm being honest. I definitely feel sorry for her. Don't suspect me of doing something inappropriate. Around the circumference of the room are a number of stony-faced foreign warriors standing guard. I remember once reading in a book a description of a Caspian prince's harem. The master of this place may be drawing from a similar source. The master, if he is who I assume he is, it doesn't fit with the image I had of him at all. And I must remind you that the master, that's what she calls him, is a young or middle-aged man, I think a young man, dressed in a black armor, and its helmet has cat's ears, or fox's ears. I'm not sure. We decided that he is a fox boy. Almost like fuck boy. Sorry. Okay. But then, I've certainly been given cause to doubt how well I knew that man in the first place. A hesitant voice draws my attention. Ooh, she's cute. From behind a pillar comes a nervous-looking girl close in age to myself. She appears to have been in the middle of cleaning. You're the new arrival? We'll see about that. Oh, I'm sorry. What are you apologizing for? You must be resistant to the idea, I'm sure. It certainly can be helped, though. Tears begin to well up and spill out of the girl's already watery eyes. There, don't cry. I'm not upset. You're not? I love this face expression. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not, see? Please, I just want to know, what is this place? This is her... her beastliness's harem. Oh, I see. Now, it really is a harem. Her beastliness, wow. Her beastliness's harem. I'm astonished. More than that, however, her beastliness? That's what she likes to be called. The beast does. The beast. It seems I was mistaken about my kidnapper's identity. Aside from the view from the balcony, everything here is unfamiliar. It is as though I've traveled through time. There must be points of reference, but where? Oh, here she comes now. There comes the sound of booted feet descending the stairs, before the curtains of the principal archway are impetuously thrust aside. Whoa! She's an elf! A tall, dashing, rather androgynous noblewoman in dark clothing strides into the room like an actor making their entrance on the stage. I must do the screenshot, guys. I must do it. She's too gorgeous and too cool. Girls, what a day! Catch me, for I can no longer bear to stand. With a flamboyant swish of her cloak, she turns her back on the assembly of women and gives herself over to their outstretched arms. Well, such dramatic appearance, guys. Like a host of angels, they expertly arrest her fall. They transport the swooning cat over to a large pillow and gently set her down. You'd think that if you were the top dog around here, that life would be easy, right? There should be nobody who can tell you what to do. But the way that steward bangs on, you'd think he was in charge. If I hear him say this is a matter that requires your full consideration in that whiny voice one more time, something is wrong with my voice right now, like with the expression of my voice right now, because I can't kind of get how I need to be voicing her. She's like, I think that she's a bit flamboyant, but at the same time she's irritated right now, so it's more like, if I hear him say this is a matter that requires your full consideration in that whiny voice one more time, I'll cut his wrinkly old head off and kick it out of the nearest window. Just listening to that interminable lecture has made me thirsty. I need a drink. Let's do that, mouth-to-mouth style. Yeah. She definitely knows how to enjoy life. A truly refined way to drink. And so sensuous that will bring me back to life. Or better yet, cleavage cup. The height of decadence. I love her expression, and I'm already in love with her. Hmm? What's wrong, Araby? I'm begging you, your beastliness. I'm still trying to clean the carpets that got stained the last time you drank like that. Well, drinking out of a silver goblet isn't bad either. It has a certain dignity to it. Yes, that will do. One of the concubines fills the goblet with wine and hands it to the noblewoman who's evidently the beast the girl called Araby spoke of. She downs the rich red liquid in a decidedly undignified manner, gives a coarse sigh of satisfaction, and wipes her mouth with her sleeve. So she drinks it in the Misato style, like she swallows the beer and like, Ina, biru ina. Oh, haha, nice. It's only after this strange performance that she finally glances over at me, acting as if she's only just realized that I'm here. Again, I must take the screenshot. It's urgent. I have an urge to take the screenshot of it. Welcome, Bronwyn of Mistral Valley. Welcome to our little family. Please forgive my rudeness in not getting to my feet. I'm quite dead. Won't you come a bit closer, that I might better see your lovely face? I'm fine here, thank you. Very well. There is no need to rush things. We have all the time in the world to narrow the distance between us. The beast interlocks her fingers and rests them on her chest, regarding me with a smug half-smile. Smug half-smile. Thank you to speak for yourself. I, for my part, have no intention of getting to know you. Now, may I leave? Or am I a prisoner here? She frowns slightly at the word prisoner, but the smile returns to her face as quickly as it left. Obviously, you can't just leave, but you're no prisoner. You're family. Yeah, it's like in all of those cases, when people talk about HRs and people talk about job hunting, like, if you see that a company, in the description of the company, there is something like, our small company or our small startup is like a family, then you should avoid them at all cost, because they are the shittiest company you ever see. So it's a general rule, so I can see it can be applied here. On the other hand, well, if I were a girl, I would definitely fall in love with her. But she may be quite abusive, I guess. So let's see. Let's read more about her. Anyway, that's semantics. Yeah, semantics. Damn, this girl is knowledgeable. Definitely, she knows the word semantics. Well, of course, she was a teacher, and she looked like she's very well educated. Anyway, it's nothing of the sort. Your family won't lock you up, but you can hardly abandon them, can you? Yeah, this works like that. All those shitty companies work exactly like that. They're like, we're family, and then, oh, no, you can't take a leave. No, you can't just terminate our contract like that. You need to pay because, well, we're family, right? Indeed. You're stuck with them until someone is good enough to kidnap you. My sarcastic comment seems only to stoke your good cheer. That's how it is, my lovely. I'll keep you safe and comfortable here and provide you with whatever you desire. I open my mouth to make a suggestion. Within reason, of course. You, in turn, will comfort me when I when I weary of the burdens of leading the pack and must set them down and rest. That's a much better deal than eking out a squalid subsistence in some cursed backwater. That so-called freedom is the real prison. You'll soon understand. Yeah, poker face. Well, who could possibly refuse such an offer? I can see why you didn't deem it necessary to ask for my consent. Why me, though? Well, now... The beast seems suddenly possessed of some inner reservoir of energy. She rises from the pillow and gets back to her feet. That's because... The concubines shuffle discreetly away from her. They seem to know something is coming. I love cute, beautiful girls with big boobies! She's gorgeous. Well, I mean, where's she wrong? Where's she wrong? Sorry for making all those strange sounds. I guess I'm a bit nervous today. Oh, Chapter 3. The First Sword, the First River and the Capital City. Okay, now we're back with our miller Otto and his party. Or I don't know, or it's not his party, but the Switch's party. The sun is just beginning to peek over the mountains when Switch, Eco, and myself take out leave of Granny's fine accommodation. We follow our host down to the river, where a sturdy little boat is lying upside down on the bank. That's here is my husband's old tub. You're welcome to borrow it for as long as you need to. If it isn't liable to spring a leak, it will bring you to the capital by noon. Do either of you know how to scull a boat? It's not unlike the ones we use on the lake back home. I'm sure I can manage. It's not unlike the ones that we use on the lake back home. I'm sure I can manage. Really can't thank you enough, Granny. You'll be getting accommodation in my report to the guild. I'm just making a good bed, it's all. I believe the change you brought about in the forest is a good omen. I'd be making the same mistake as my ancestors if I didn't put my faith in it. Still, we should give you something in the way of compensation. Would you like some gold? What good is gold? There's no economy out here. Switch. Again, I must do the screenshot. I must. She's so sweet in this dress of hers, and with this choker. To be entirely honest, I'm not as comfortable with boats as I had made myself out to be before we showed off. I tended to avoid using them back home on account of being such an exceptionally poor swimmer. I wanted to seem more capable in Switch's estimation, I suppose. The idea of having her do the rowing doesn't sit well with my sense of male pride. Okay, I see. The guy is conservative. Well, I'm not surprised because he's from a small village. I hope that Switch will teach him how to be a male in this world. I mean, maybe she'll make him a woman. The boat itself feels like a well-made vessel, forgiving enough of my inexperience, and our journey down the river is going about as smoothly as I could hope. Not feeling the risk of being left behind, Iko has left the confines of the craft to skim around in the surface of the water and play with the fish, pulling them bodily out of the water and laughing with an innocent cruelty at their affronted and terrified reactions. Yeah, this fairy is definitely very shitty. But, well, she loves to play. I can't, like, account her for that. Not account, accuse, sorry. My English today is a bit poor. The fair landscape of peaks and valleys rendered in pale morning light rolls away. No, sorry. The fair landscape of peaks and valleys rendered in pale morning light rolls away on either side of the proverse which sits, looking oddly pensive. Oh, hi Mirai no Hito. Good evening. How are you doing? Tell us what's new in your life. I can tell that my life today was not as good as I thought it would be, because I had some very, very strange moments of insecurity when I thought that I'm a bit lonely, that people ignore me or something like that. But then I slept a bit and it was okay. Then I slept a bit and it was okay, so yeah. I think that sleep is good, guys. And don't forget to sleep, please. Also, yeah, I was pissed off at my professor who as usual couldn't understand it or couldn't get what we are doing and was brimming with many useless ideas, and I had to deal with that. That's not what I expected the PhD course would be. Yeah. So yeah, if you have anything to say, just please tell me. And we are going further. Just for context, for some context, Bronwyn, the big sister who we are looking for, is now in the harem of her beastliness. In the harem of the beast, who is a very attractive woman with some abusive traits of character, I think. Some abusive behavior, but still she's gorgeous, and also she likes women, yes, and she has a harem, and our Bronwyn is there. As for those guys, they just departed from the village and heading towards the capital. Okay, let's go back to reading. Perhaps her more modest attire has put a damper on her usual exuberance. I feel a bit sorry for her, but being dressed to suit this bucolic scenery serves only to make her more beautiful. Yeah, I love the word bucolic. It's like, pastoral, related to villages, peasants, you know, this romantic view of the country, which was quite popular back in 19th century when romanticism was popular. Like this, the spirit of our ancestors or something like that. The bucolic, the easy life in village or something like that. Yeah. Okay, Mirai no Hito, I think I don't have anything interesting to tell you. Well, as you wish. You can always share anything interesting, or maybe sad, or maybe depressing, or maybe funny with us if you want. Beautiful. Huh? Oh, what was that? What a beautiful land this is. Okay. She's out of character now. I mean... Well, I don't think it's a good idea to just judge people by their usual way of how they behave. So yeah. What's Casper like? It's a big country with a diverse climate. Every region is special in its own way. At its northern extent, it's not too different from here. We're neighbors after all, but the central region where I come from is mostly desert. Bucolic is something like pastoral. Yeah. Bucolic is something like pastoral, as I said earlier. I think that the first time I met this word was when I was reading Abihima's Embraced by Autumn, which is a very sweet, small English visual novel about a French guy who's like 14 or 15 who got sent to the countryside in France and had to dress like a girl in order to attend the girls' school, the old girls' school. That visual novel was really fine, again, Embraced by Autumn, and I really recommend that. Yeah, and Switch is telling us about her homeland, which is called Casper, and she's from the central region of that country. Desert. A sea of sand, huh? I've never seen the ocean, so it's hard for me to imagine. There is a river there too. It's even bigger than this one. It's the country's lifeblood, and its foremost source of bloodshed. Any excuse will do for you humans. Wipe that holier than thou look of your. Well, my English today is not perfect, as you can see. Wipe that holier than thou look of your face, fairy. I'm not going to discuss human nature with you of all creatures. Actually, I don't want to discuss it at all. Her mood soured. Switch folds her arms and sinks down into the prow, her long brown legs stretching out from under her skirt and across the hall. There's nothing in this world less interesting than war. When it comes down to it, it's just a bunch of dick waving. And there is no point in getting riled up about something like that on a nice morning like this. The sun is shining and there is a cool breeze on the water. Go ahead and... No, yeah. Okay, I need to read it like this. And there's no point in getting riled up about something like that on a nice morning like this. The sun is shining and there is a cool breeze on the water. Go ahead and have a little nap. You're among friends here. Switch rolls on her onto her side and pushes herself upright again. Okay, it's time for a story. A story? Yep. Gotta stave off the drowsiness somehow. You're only delaying the inevitable. It's a story about the great river in my homeland. Every little kid in Casper know it, so be a good girl and listen quietly. I'm not a child. I'm thousands of years old. Nice. Oh, nice presentation. This is a tale of a time long past, when all the land was barren of life and no man walked upon it. The humanity of this era lived under the sea, in a vast kingdom that spanned the ocean floor. These people were quite different from the way we are today. They had scales on their skin and webbed fingers and toes. What do you mean by webbed? Take a look at your own fingers. Do you see the little webs at the base? Picture those, but spanning the length of the finger. Seems like it would be kind of a nuisance. I don't remember how to pronounce it, unfortunately. Yeah. Oh, sorry, go on. Yay! Among the sea people, the loveliest was the king's eldest daughter, Misu. Okay, I want to save a screenshot again. Yeah, I'll be doing it quite constantly. She was everyone's idol, an unmatched beauty whose singing was said to be able to quell any discord. But this princess also had a reputation for being something of an eccentric. Nobody understood this better than her long-suffering childhood friend, and the hero of many a song and story, Wata. Lol. You see, Misu was fascinated by the dry, desolate land above the water, and made no secret of it. She would spend hours sticking her head out of the water to gaze upon it, swimming all along the coastline to see as much of it as she could, eyes shining with curiosity. Where Wata and the others saw only a bleak expanse of death, she saw an unexplored frontier. The strange behavior was all well and good until she went as far as leaving the water entirely, to perch on the rocks by the shore and sing under the blue sky. And if she had sounded très bien before, it was nothing compared to how beautiful her voice sounded now, as it echoed through the heavens. The sea people were all moved to tears, with the exception of the prudent Wata, who just couldn't shake a premonition that something bad was going to happen. One day, something bad happened. It had come from the darkness between the stars, a gigantic dragon, all made of star rock. This alien had heard Mrs. Song even over the roar of its great stomach, empty from a long journey across the void, and had descended to investigate. It had come down many leagues inland, but such was the size of the brute that Wata could easily sight in from his low perspective in the water. Among the innumerable deeds to his name, many concerned the appearance of dragons. He knew enough about them to know that they were rarely up to any good. He resolved himself to confront it without delay. Talking up the trusty bone spear that had seen him through many a life or death battle, he swam to the surface. His thought was to make the trek overland rather than wait for the dragon to reach the sea. To make the trek overland... oh, okay, yeah. I see, so he is going to kill it while it's above the soil. Above the land, and not the sea. Even though he'd be playing an away game? Never mind. An away game. What is an away game? I'm not sure I get it correctly. So let me check it out. Probably. But how away game. Away game. An athletic contest played away from the team's home field. Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's an important concern. Never mind. Upon gaining the coast, Wata found Misu at her customary spot on the rocks. His first instinct was to scold her as he usually did, but this time something bade him hold his tongue. There was no singing to be heard today. The princess's profile was inscrutable as she observed this distant form of the dragon, and she remained this way for some time before turning her gaze to meet Wata's. I saw in the water, saw in the land. But this journey I made with ease by my deeds, for you will prove perilous. Contrition foxes the oracle with fiction, but with my spear I shall strike the python of fear from thine breast. What is this very sophisticated poetry? Who is he? A poet of kind, or what? Wata countered Mrs. Verse with one of his own. Oh, okay, yeah. So he's just how was it called in English? Let me remember. So he just tries to be cool, I see. To get the girl. What yeah. Wata countered Mrs. Verse with one of his own, then shook his dark head and muttered, "This won't take long. I'll be back soon." Such a nice smile, really. Mrs. smiled, first sadly and then as brightly as the sunlight dancing over the water. "I'll be waiting here for your return." Despite himself, the taciturn Water returned her smile and left the water with a great leap. He landed on his feet, then stumbled and fell, and so it was that man first set foot upon the earth. How to kill dragon with this spear? Well, I think that's how to say. That's why this deed should be great. It's like, you know, in all those legends, when a small man just kills something very, very big and very dangerous with his bare hands, or with a spear, or with just a knife. So let's see how he will manage to do that. Maybe he won't. Who knows? At first, Wata went on his hands and knees. It was hard going on the hot, rough sand, and it wasn't long before he was raw and bloody. The trail he left in his wake was littered with pollen scales. But he wasn't called a hero for nothing. He persevered, and eventually got the hang of walking on two legs. It seemed like a good idea. In fact, it was such a good idea that we do the same to this day. It was high noon when he arrived at the edge of the dragon's shadow. He was weak and weary, but resolved to do what he must. "Hail, pilgrim!" he cried. "What brings you to this land?" "I'm looking for something to eat," replied the dragon ponderously. "I'm ever so hungry. You look rather tasty, if a little insubstantial, and there are more of your kin in yonder ocean. I think I can manage about 5,000 of you." I don't know how to voice the dragon, actually. "I alone will be more than enough to sate your appetite, dragon," declared Wata, raising his spear. It was as he had suspected. The visitor had only foul designs for his people. The dragon sighed massively, whipping up a sandstorm with the merest exhalation, and sweated at Wata with a tremendous forelimb. This vocabulary kills me. I'll be honest. Wata could only make a desperate thrust with his long spear. The blow struck true enough to break the dragon's skin and draw forth of its boiling blood, but the spear broke, and it was a minor wound compared to the one he suffered in exchange, which was surely fatal. Wata lay on the sand in a pool of his life's blood, his soul fast submerging in despair. The memory of Misu's face and voice, which though he hadn't realized it until the moment had brought him this far, was growing indistinct in his mind's eye. He couldn't remember the last time he had sincerely praised her singing, and that regret hurt as much as his wound. He had just about resigned himself to his miserable fate when he noticed a glittering shape in the sand where the dragon's spilled blood met his own. The dragon's molten blood had cooled and hardened into a strangely shaped, terribly sharp piece of metal, the world's first sword. Mastering the dregs of his courage, Wata took up the sword and clambered onto the dragon's great body. I love those question signs. It's like the dragon is like, oh, wait, what? Up and up he climbed, and the dragon stomped around, trying to figure out where its neck had disappeared to. When he was atop the monster's head, he took the blade and thrust it in as far as it would go. The new weapon cut through the dragon's stony brow as though it were butter, and slew it. The dragon's gigantic body settled into the earth and, stirring no more, became a mountain. Wata lay upon the summit, dying of his injury. However, his strong wish to return home became the source of a river of his own blood, which ran down the dragon's body, along the long trail he had left in the sand and into the sea. Misu, true to her word, was there to welcome him, becoming the waves that crash against the shore and mingle with the river at its mouth. To this day, the vast gentle song of the waves on the shore remain a balm that can heal any troubled heart. This was sad, a bit, and romantic. Switch mutters some words in her mother tongue that sound like a prayer. I'm about to ask what they mean when Iko interjects. Mankind emerging from the sea, huh? What amusing fantasies you humans dream up. I'm not claiming this story to be a real historical event. It's a myth, an allegory. It was value beyond its factuality. It has value beyond its factuality. Pish! I can tell you of the true origin of humanity, if you'd like. I have a feeling you're going to, whether I like it or not. Iku, blatantly ignoring Switch, clears her throat. In the distant past, the great spirits who held dominion over the world created the first human out of clay to function as their servants. Oh boy, here we go. I'm sure it's a blow to your pride, but it's the truth. Somehow I was expecting something along these lines. With the exception of their ears, which were made round instead of pointed, in order to differentiate them from their masters, they created these servants in their own image. And such was their consummate craftsmanship that they could not help becoming enamored with their own creations. Yeah, enamored, probably. So yeah, those guys loved their creations. Alas, as a result of the unfortunate unions that thence transpired, the divine spark of their being was mixed into the crude matter of the humans. Consequently, these mud people developed wills of their own and the ability to reproduce, and all the other stuff that though in the hands of the great spirits was good and proper, has enabled humans to become such a prolific nuisance, prolific, I guess. Man. Prolific. Wait a second. Yeah. Prolific. Producing much fruit or foliage or many offspring. Yeah. Nuisance is, yeah, a person or thing causing inconvenience or annoyance. If you doubt me, how do you account for the elfin people having a greater capacity for the divine language? They simply have more divinity in their being. Elfin people. Folk with pointed ears. Elves. Okay, and the divine language is magic, presumably. Yep. Oh. Well, you ask me how I account for it, but it's not like any of the elves I know are any good at magic. Or rather, it's more like there is nothing to suggest any correlation. Winnie knows almost everything, but she doesn't know the slightest bit of magic, to say nothing of the Trosh, who's about as magical as a dead rat. Your sample size is too small! And if you'll pardon my bluntness, it was our switch's magic that was the cause of your undoing back in the forest. I think you'll agree she has very round ears. Well said! It's simply not worth explaining the myriad and complex circumstances behind my defeat, among which that crude martial spells was only the tiniest factor. I shall instead graciously concede the point. More pertinently, you believe this nonsense about humans crawling out of the sea more? I can't say I believe it exactly, but that's beside the point. Switch wasn't claiming it as a fact in the first place. If anything, I'm quite sure she took some creative liberties with it. Whereas to, as a matter of fact, I did. The tales, for example. What tales? Exactly. In most popular versions of the myth, the sea people are portrayed with the lower bodies of fish or whales. In other words, all tail from the waist down. That seems like it would be even more of a nuisance than having webbed fingers. Right? It never sat well with me, even when I was a child. I was vindicated somewhat when I found out that the tail of a fish is not homologous with the legs of a human. We actually have a little vestigial tail tucked away inside our bodies. Okay, she's very well educated as well. I love her. Yeah, she knows basic biology. What? It's true! So with science backing my aesthetic sensibilities, I decided to portray the sea people with legs and webbed digits instead. A stroke of genius, if I may say to myself. And you take such liberties with the legendary matter of your people in the name of aesthetic sensibility? It's still in line with the principles of oral tradition. Stories are malleable, living things. And I guess I'm just a natural when it comes to storytelling. Switch holds her arms behind her head and leans back in the boat with an astonishingly smug expression on her face. Ikko just can't compete when it comes to shameless boasting, it seems. Yeah. She breaks off the conversation and begins flying around the boat in a slow circle, muttering. I've seen my fair share of naked humans, and I've never seen any damn tail. I suppose you would have with all those unfortunate unions you'd been engaging in. What is she meaning? Echo bristles like she's just being struck by lightning and rounds on Switch. Her delicate features set in a tiny icy mask. Fool that you are! You didn't recognize my capitulation for the act of generosity that it was. Yeah, You know, when I wrote that tweet about the fact that now we have a shitty and cute fairy, I wasn't sure she would be shitty, but yeah, she's very shitty. You obviously want to take a dip in the river. Try me, fairy! Ico and Switch look set to continue their lively debate for this entire journey. I heave a sigh of abject resignation and look beyond them for some kind of salvation, only to notice we'd been slowly approaching a mountain of our own. Faintly visible on the horizon is what must be a truly massive tower built of brilliant white stone. That must be the capital. The pair stopped arguing and turned around to look. Real civilization at last, eh? Yep, nothing says culture like big fancy towers. This reminds me of the days when I first played Minecraft, which was around 2011, probably. Like, come to think of it, it was 12 years ago. Man, it was so long. It's been so long, really. So Minecraft was a new game back then, and it was still in beta. And I remember that that my friend, well, okay, so let's begin from the beginning. Sorry for this, for this tautology. So back then, I was in a group that did translations of subtitles for the anime. Well, at first we like tried to be subbers and dubbers at the same time, but I was doing translations of anime, and there was a really cool guy who was just, you know, who told us very much about games, about some new trends and so on. So, and one day he brought this new game called Minecraft, and he was like, okay, let's build something together. I don't remember. Yeah, I think that he created a server for us, and as far as I can remember, he always liked to build big towers, and I too, I also love to build like lighthouses or towers somewhere in the mountains. Oh, those were interesting days. We were building very simple projects, but we were happy that we were actually able to do that. Like, and even that usual like the simplest cobblestone looked like somewhere in the snowy area looked like something really great to build a castle. And yeah, even a simple square castle looked like a cool place to be. Yeah, I miss those times. I also translated Touhou project songs back at the time. And I remember how I was building a castle and thinking about how to translate a certain song, which is probably one of my most popular translations, I guess. Okay, sorry for this old man's omoide banashi. And sorry for this Japanese, I don't remember how to call it in English. Let's get back to the civilization with big fancy towers. It looks scary. I wanna go back to Granny's. Oh, pure sweet child. I mean, poor. Okay, Bronwyn again. I want to go home. Bronwyn! Hi there. I'm here to play. Why are you still in bed? If I'm asleep, I can pretend I'm somewhere other than here. Don't be like that. What do you want to do? Go home. What do you want to do within the walls of this palace? Well then, does this palace of yours have a library? Of course it does, but... I don't want you to spend all your time reading. I bet you ruined your eyesight reading so many books. I'll stay in bed then. Fine. Well, go to the library. Just get out of bed already. It's depressing me. Yeah, I said she's a bit abusive. Or... well, I can say that she's demanding. And she's very vivid. But obviously, there are other ways to say that. that she... well, like she's abusive and... yeah. There's nice clothes. Yeah, that's right. There's not much here. Most of it went up in flames along with the old palace during that little kerfuffle 10 years ago. All of this stuff is boring record keeping and the previous occupant's Oriental mysticism nonsense. The previous occupant, King Darius? I'm fishing for a reaction and I get one. The beast bristles at the mention of the name, and I flinch, feeling instinctively like she's about to strike me. She seems to master the violent impulse, but when she addresses me again, her tone is devoid of its usual flippancy. I would warn you not to speak that name in my presence, even though you defeated him. I get it, you know? You're trying to make me angry on purpose. You're the one who said we should get to know each other better. You... that glib nature of yours was charming at first, but it's starting to wear a little thin. Suddenly, the beast approaches. I can show her my back. I stumble away from her until I come up against a bookshelf, whereupon she bars my escape with an outstretched arm. Kabedon, kabedon. Cool. Okay. Again, I need to take a screenshot. The dark amethyst set deep in the face of a pale chimera stared down at me. I return the look as best as I can from my diminutive position. I won't release you if you get on my nerves too much. Oh, that's what you're hoping for. I'll just punish you until you become more obedient. As she speaks, her reeking breath imposes itself upon my senses, making my eyes water. Have you been drinking? Isn't it rather early for that? She's really like Misato. Yeah. I'm not trying to antagonize you this time. I'm simply expressing concern for your well-being. So you admit you were trying to annoy me. The beast straightens up and turns away from me, then paces back into the middle of the chamber. With a swish of her cape, she quickly turns to face me again. There's no joy in victory when your opponent is an inept pretender without the mandate of heaven. I beg your pardon? Are we back onto Eastern philosophy now? I'm talking about Darius, obviously. Don't make me say that vermin's name more than I must. I thought taking over this country would be the greatest victory of my life, but it turned out to be the most disappointing. To be quite candid with you, I've since lost all my enthusiasm for military campaigns. I'm at a loss as to what to do with the rest of my life. You know, it's like, you play Dota or Overwatch, something that I haven't been doing for quite a long time, for maybe 2 years for Overwatch and 3 years for Dota, I guess. And you win in a game in which your enemies were really weak. You feel that emptiness. I understand her. She's just like me for real. She's just like me. She wants challenges, not easy victories. Yeah. I love her more and more. And now she has an existential crisis. Assembling a harem of the world's premier beauties and cuties is good fun and all, but since it won't be producing any heirs, it can ultimately only serve as an oasis for my heart. Yeah, this happens sometimes, really disappointing. And I don't think I'm the type of person who can make love their raison d'être. I could drop everything and go back to being the terror of the steppes, but that seems outright regressive now that I have a whole country to play with. It would be a waste. To play with, you say. Perhaps you would try your hand at honest statecraft. Sorry. Perhaps you would try your hand at honest statecraft? Serious suggestions only, please, Bronwyn. I was being serious. From what I gather, King Darius was a rather poor statesman. What better way to win a true victory over him than to rule his country more ably than he did? You are obsessed. I'll hear no more talk of that man from you, or so help me. If you absolutely must concern yourself with those that are dead and buried, you're in the right place. Rid of their foolish lives and until your eyes bleed, for all I care. Okay, girl, just do what you want. Read their shitty books. I myself have no interest in this dusty old crypt, so I'll take my leave of you for now. When you're quite satisfied and willing to behave more agreeably, the guard will escort you back. Just like that, she turns and leaves. I flush a little with embarrassment when I notice one of the harem guards had been mutely observing our whole exchange. Okay, let's go back to those guys. Big Bur, the capital of the kingdom of Byron, where I have apparently been living my whole life, might as well be a city on the moon for all I can compare it to my little village in the valley. Yeah, like, this is a very interesting notion, a very interesting phrase, that where I have apparently been living my whole life. Because, you know, back in Middle Ages and even in after the Industrial Revolution, in many most of the population, like, people weren't aware of the country they live in. Well, maybe they heard the name or something, but their lives were bound to small villages or small regions between which they could move in and out. And yeah, the notion of a nation, of a state and of a nation is something rather new. So yeah, so when some people tell you that, oh, like 1,000 years ago, there was there was a great country, and everyone was loving it, and some blah blah blah, something like that. No, it wasn't like that. There were villages, and there were small regions, and there was a king, or I don't know, or some person of higher status who would come, take all the collect taxes, and go away. And sometimes maybe they would draft people to participate in wars. That's it. The huge buildings are packed together side by side, end to end. You had a way to travel much, recruit an army. Yeah. Well, I'd say that in Middle Ages, actually peasants didn't participate in wars very much, very often. Wars were more like a privilege of aristocrats. Well, no, of course I won't say it was like that everywhere, because sometimes it was quite different. Sometimes aristocrats would draft people to participate in their wars, but it was it didn't work like, you know, armies in 18th or 19th centuries. The huge buildings are packed together side by side, end to end, one on top of the other, and the streets and alleyways that run between them, like the cracks in a dry lake bed, are thronging with innumerable men and women of every race and walk of life. I've never seen so many people, nor heard so many voices speaking so many different tongues. It's too much to take in. How does one hold on to their wits in such an environment? Sometimes when people come to Tokyo, I like to show Akihabara to them, because Akihabara is really a great place, and I am, as a VTuber and as an otaku, a huge fan of Akiba, although it's a bit I don't know, mainstream compared to Nakano, but still. And whenever I guide somewhere, whenever I guide someone through Akiba, it ends up with a person being overwhelmed by the amount of information, by the amount of goods, of cute maids, of figurines in shops, of people, because Akiba, especially in Saturdays and Sundays, especially on weekends, is full of people. Now there are like tons of foreigners. Some of them silly, some of them not silly. So people easily get overwhelmed, and they're like get sensory overload. Actually, I used to be like that too before, but now I got used to it, and I'm like, I watch a person, and if they seem to be weary and seem to be tired, I'm like, okay, let's go to some cafe and take a rest. Do you take them to Maid Cafe? Actually, I must confess, I've never been to a Maid Cafe. I don't know, the whole idea has always seemed to be cringe. I don't know, because the food is very expensive, and still, even if you talk to mates, it's not like they do it because they like you. Now I think that if someone would ask me to show them a maid cafe, and maybe if someone invited me to a maid cafe, I would agree to go there, and I would enjoy it. But like, Akiba is such a place that you can spend the whole day there if you know what you want and if you want to look at everything, like. And yeah, there are enough places to go even without maid cafes. But you're a foreigner, it must be interesting for maids. Well, I think that in Akihabara they see foreigners every single day. Well, of course, the other on the other hand, I think that they don't see foreigners who can speak Japanese very often. Of course, they see such people, but not like every day, probably. But still, I think that it's more interesting to go to some bar or to some anisong party, which I do sometimes, but not as often as I would like to do. Yeah. So while I'm saying this much about, oh no, maid cafes are not genuine communication. I don't do much to have this genuine communication more in my life because I'm a hikikomori sometimes. But yeah, I think that maybe it could be a good idea to talk to mates in Japanese. Have you ever been in pachinko? Nope. Like, I'm not sure I want to try because I don't know if I'm prone to gambling, but I don't want to try. I remember that when I was a kid, there was this UFO catcher or something like the. No! It wasn't a UFO catcher. It was this this clown casino machine in the supermarket that I used to go to with my parents, and sometimes they would spend small amount of money playing there. And I think it's not good for me. Yeah. Well, pachinkos are noisy. When you are around them, when you're around the building, if someone goes in or comes out of the building, it's like the gates of hell open, because the door opens and you hear this fucking noise. It's so annoying. It's like this metallic noise. But at the same time, I know many Japanese people who like pachinko. Well, pachinko is a very interesting facility, so to say, because I think it's better to say that it's an interesting phenomenon, because it has, well, in all those machines inside pachinko there are videos. When you play, you can watch different animations. I don't know what is it. Also there are songs written especially for pachinko. So it's a whole world. There are journals about pachinko, and in the anime nightclub that I sometimes go to, I think that in the next week they are having next week on Saturday they're having a pachinko music party, which is like, so DJs just make their DJ sets out of entirely out of songs that are played in pachinko. That's crazy. That's really crazy. You must make a video about Akiba. Well, maybe on one hand it's there are too many videos about Akiba out there on YouTube, because every single YouTuber who's interested in Japan and who's especially interested in anime and stuff always goes there and it's like, okay, let's walk around Akiba. But at the same time, now I think that I know some deep places there in Akiba. I know some interesting places or interesting shops. For example, a shop for Toho Project, entirely for Toho Project. Some I don't know, some cute restaurants and cafes. So maybe my experience and my personal opinion, my personal view of Akiba would be interesting to people. Not very mainstream, more like a bit nerdy, a bit of a nerdy stuff, I think. Yeah. But I don't want to go to pachinko. Okay, let's go back to playing the game. It's hot, stifling even. It doesn't feel like there is enough fresh air. It's hard to breathe properly. A fist thumps into my upper arm. I turn to Switch, who seems quite at ease amongst this remote. My doubtlessly typical reaction must be a source of great amusement for her. What is this language? It's no use making a calf-led to market face like that, Otto. This is nothing compared to the great soak back home. Great soak? What's soak? To the great souk, an Arab market or marketplace, bazaar. Damn. Yeah, vocabulary sometimes kills me. What is calf to calflet? Ah, yeah, okay, I got it. It's not that calf that is a part of a leg. It's a calf that is a sheep's child. I don't know how to describe. Yeah, a sheep's child. Calf led to market. Yeah. I don't see how that's possible. Well, if the rumors are to be believed, we even get visitors from other planets. Other planets, you say? Yes? I'm having a hard enough time getting to grips with the sheer variety and quantity of my fellow man. And now you're telling me there are folk from other stars going about their business in our world as well? They aren't allowed to just come out and say it, but in the past I've taken on some strange jobs that... actually, I probably shouldn't be talking about it. Oh, I must say it's an interesting setting, so there are aliens as well. Well, maybe elves are aliens. Who knows? And on that subject, I'm going to head over to the local branch and make some reports. You two ought to stick with me so you don't get lost. Well, we're not children! I'm curious about what the guild is like, but I think I'd prefer to walk around a bit after all that sculling. Besides, the sooner I acclimatize myself to this place, the better. You two are going to get eaten alive. Well, no matter. Your role as a pack mule is essentially over now. Anyway, let's say you're on information gathering duty. If you don't meet with a terrible fate, we'll convene at sundown in the tavern next to the guild hall and compare notes. Switch takes her leave of us with a jaunty salute and strides over to an impressive-looking building that stands out among the others in the square. The sign hanging above the entrance depicts a gaily dressed harlequin brandishing a sword in his left hand, a lantern in his right, and his feet on either side of a river. I look around for Iko, who, from when we left the boat until just a moment ago, had been clinging to my shoulder like a squirrel. Oh, that's cute. Although she's a shitty fair fairy anyway. She's small, but she's easy enough to spot, hovering around something I can't see for the steady current of people passing before me. I clumsily push my way over to where she is, indeed feeling as though I'm attempting to ford a fast-flowing river. My inaptitude at navigating crowds might be another of many things marking me as a country boy. Haha, when I finally escape, I find her admiring the wares of a street peddler sat cross-legged on a woven mat with his wares spread out before him. Yeah... I'm sorry, I forgot what a peddler means. Peddler... a person who sells illegal drugs or illicit goods. Nice. Specifically, she seems fascinated by an amulet of smooth orange stone tied with a leather strap. This is amber, isn't it? That's right. You obviously know your resins, little lady. And this here is the good stuff, rare and ancient, full of magical power. Yes, I can feel it. Otto, let's put some of that gold to good use. Magical power? What's with that dubious look, human? I know what I'm talking about. I'm not entirely sure I trust Iko's appraisal, but this peddler might be a good person to canvass for information. You know what? I'll take it. How many gold pieces? Pieces? Just one of those will be plenty, brother. Go ahead and pick out something for that saucy foreign sort you were with us well. Saucy foreign sort. I think that this is a compliment for Switch, but I'm not sure if she would be glad if she heard this. Really? Go on. I'd be robbing you otherwise. I take a closer look at the array of items on the mat, but there is not much in the way of this showy gold stuff set with jewels that Switch seems to be fond of. I pick up a bracelet of carved-off white beads. Looking closely at the carvings, they seem to be some kind of text. Your friend is from Casper? How did you know? You have a good eye as well, brother. Those are ancient Casperian prayer beads, carved elder dragon bone. Elder dragon bone? Really? Good grief, I swear nobody grills me harder than your country types. Do I really look that untrustworthy? Sorry. Let me tell you. Well, maybe I need to voice him with some kind of an Eastern accent, or Slavic, well, maybe not Slavic, but Eastern accent. Let me tell you. There's more to this occupation than the mere pursuit of profit. Come around here and sit next to me. Okay. I do as the peddler suggests, and after a moment, he skillfully catches the attention of a well-to-do lady and her maid passing by. Oh. Just look at them. I feel that I've seen these images before. Like, not images, I feel I've seen such characters before, but I'm not sure if I can tell it for sure. Oh my gosh. Okay. They bent down curiously to inspect his wares, and out of the corner of my eye I noticed him leering down their ample cleavages with a lascivious expression on his face. You little pervert. More than mere profit, huh? Don't become a tiresome person who can stop and smell the flowers growing by the roadside, brother. He's having a Hanaji. He's having a nosebleed. Well, I can understand him. Oh, how cute! The two women seemed to be paying more attention to Iku than the hungry dogs staring down their blouses. What a delightful creature! Is she for sale as well? The lady reaches out a hand towards her and then withdraws with a shriek. In a flash of movement, Echo has bit her on the finger and retreated back behind my hat, hissing like an angry cat. What age they live in? They know about planets and these clothes. Well, this is a fantasy setting, so it may be any age. Be it may be a fantasy setting where people know about different planets, especially educated people. But at the same time, the technologists must be, you know, some kind of this middle age stuff. But maybe they know about other planets thanks to magic. There is this possibility too. So yeah, let's not forget about this. Okay, so let's continue. The lady, who had fallen on her backside, scrambles hastily to her feet with a scandalized expression on her face. You! If that's your pet, you ought to keep it under control. Who the fuck are you calling a pet? Mrs., it would be beneath your dignity to make a scene over this. Ow! Impertinent girl! You're 10 years too early to be advising me on what is and isn't dignified. With all those wrinkles, I'm shocked you're only 10 years older. Ah. Why, Iko? You're in trouble now, brother. This is a waste of time. I'll grant you some lenience, boy. You've obviously just rolled in on the last hate cart and don't know the way things work around here. But the next time I see you, you had better have that thing on a leash. Iko makes an obscene gesture, which the lady mercifully doesn't seem to notice. Come along, girl. We're leaving. Yes, Mrs. As the lady bustles away, the girl in glasses gives us an apologetic smile before hurrying along behind her. After they've disappeared into the crowd, I feel Iko's hard little fingers slacking their grasp on my hair. I'm sorry about that, Mr. Peddler. It's okay, I understand. The last person who tried to buy me got a lot worse than a nip on the finger. Sorry. The last person who tried to buy me got a lot worse than a nip on the finger. Well, you're getting a sale from me at any rate. I'll take the Ember Amulet. Don't worry about those carved beads, though. She and I don't have that sort of relationship. Really? Well, if you're sure. Pleasure doing business with you. One more thing, since you seem like you might have an interest. What is it, brother? Can you tell me where can I find more women with big boobs? Otto, you shouldn't be so straightforward, please. You don't beat around the bush, do you? I knew you were a fellow man of culture the moment I saw you. A man of culture? The peddler names a number of businesses that don't require much imagination to guess are brothels. Our investigations of these establishments leads Iko and I on a tour of the city's entertainment quarter. Here the streets are narrower, flanked on either side by galleries of painted faces, some scintillating with energy and mystery, others borne as if they were heavy burdens by tired bodies. There are obvious neophytes with an uneasiness about them that mirrors my own, as if they don't understand what they are doing here. Existentially speaking, that is. Yeah. That feeling when you want to try something new and something lascivious and forbidden, but don't feel very sure about yourself, very confident about yourself, I'd say. Yeah. It could be an act. There are as many theaters as there are bordellos, though they can be difficult to differentiate at first blush. It's a place unlike any I've seen before, but then the same could be said of almost anywhere. What I'm intimating is that nothing here is lighting within me the flames of desire, as it seems to be trying to. I am, however, nurturing a growing irritation with the swarms of tooths buzzing around the streets like so many blood-sucking insects. I would fancy putting the muscles I've developed from years of honest toil to work. Maybe beat some manners into them. Yeah, Toots is, as far as I remember, tout. Yeah, a person who buys up tickets for an event to resell them at a profit. A person who offers racing tips for a share of any resulting winnings. Okay, I see. In any case, this place is a trap for beasts of a heavier set than my own. Having come to this conclusion, I no longer feel so uneasy. How interesting. A savage jungle where the herbivores prey on the carnivores. What does that make me? Herbivores prey on the carnivores. It's an interesting metaphor, which I kind of understand, but I'm not sure that I find it very, very compelling. But anyway. Ah, here's one, Otto. Oh yeah. I slackened the hands I had been unconsciously forming into fists, and put my palm against the door of the Queen Bee, the last of the establishments the peddler recommended. Without my pushing on it, the door suddenly slams open, and a red-faced man comes barreling out, showing me a sight as he goes. From back inside comes the sound of bare feet running, and a similarly red-faced girl appears at the doorway. Mister! Please wait, mister! I didn't think it was that strange looking. I was just a bit surprised. The girl looks familiar. Actually, now that I've taken a good look at her, she looks a lot like Bronwyn. I'm taken aback. Oh no, he's gone. The girl slumps her head and shoulders in resignation, and then, noticing me, looks up. You're... She tilts her head in a gesture of curiosity, and her glasses slip a little down her nose. She looks as though she's a few years older than my sister, but her manner has a Those French words. Well, it's not exactly French. Yeah. Guileless. Devoid of guile, innocent and without deception. Okay. But her manner has a guileless innocence to it that makes her seem younger. You're a customer? No, I'm not. I'm not here to. I'm feeling nervous again. What is a girl like this doing in such a place? Maybe I underestimated the mysterious power of the entertainment quarter? Maybe there is a special snare for everyone here. Before I can explain, and I feel as though I must, I hear more footsteps coming from inside. This time is the tap 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 of the high-heeled shoes that seem to be in fashion among the women of the city. Just now that was... The owner of the high-heeled shoes is familiar as well, but she doesn't take the slightest notice of me. She rounds on the barefoot girl. Again, you've... Her hand flies in a blur and strikes the girl's face, sending her staggering into the street. What? I had enough of your prudish attitude. You're not worth the cost of keeping if you won't do what the customers want. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Don't take me for a fool. Hey, don't you think you should... You can stay out of this, fairy boy. Oh. The woman steps past me into the street and grabs the fallen girl by the hair. She pulls her up and brings their faces close together. I've accepted your apologies before, but they were nothing but empty words. Weren't they? Weren't they? It is... as you say... Yes. Well, even someone as soft-hearted as me will need something more substantial than just words after having had their trust betrayed so many times. I've got it. Why don't you put on a little show right here in the street? A show? A performance? A public display? Don't make that stupid face like you don't understand, or I really will get angry. I won't tell you what to do. You're going to have to use your imagination. The lady utters these unbelievably cruel words to the crying girl and pushes her into the middle of the crowd. By now, every pair of eyes is on her. She looks like a startled deer with nowhere to run. The men are making cat calls and whistling, and the other women's eyes are dull with a look that evokes a master's weary dismay at a clumsy apprentice. Let's go, Otto. This is none of our business. It's just the way humans are. Go on, show me. Show everyone here how willing, how shameless you are. Go on. Otto! Stop it! Are you still here? If you don't want to watch, clear off. I can just turn my back and pretend not to see while you do these horrible things. In response to my quite reasonable indignation, I'm showered with a barrage of insults and jeers from the crowd. Someone throws a bottle at me. They miss, but I think the point was made. Just what the hell is wrong with these people? Am I the crazy one here? I'll have you removed if you insist on obstructing my business. Business? What kind of business is this? It's nothing but bullying! The woman sighs and signals with her eyes to two large men who were hitherto idly playing cards in the alley next to the building. They get leisurely to their feet and approach me, cracking their knuckles and necks with two friendly smiles on their faces. Come on, then. Remove me. Oh, brother, what am I saying? I really am the crazy one here. One removal coming up. For no reason I can discern, the smiles disappear from the men's faces, and the crowd falls silent with a gasp. A stillness descends upon the tableau, as though time has stopped. Why are you looking at me like that? I was trying to help you. Iko's hand grasps my ear and pulls me in the direction of the opposite alley. Get the lead out, idiot. We are leaving. I stumble along after her, too confused to resist. Behind me, the crowd flies into an uproar. What's going on? What just happened? Heh. Echo smirks and dangles the amber in front of my face. I told you I know my stuff. Wow, you turned us invisible with magic? Well, something like that. Amazing! You're amazing, Iko! Hehehe. You can praise me more if you like. I have to go back and help that girl, though. He's stubborn, but he's got a spirit. I make to go back the way we came, but Iko grabs my ear again and pulls in the opposite direction until I relent. Will you stop doing that? What's the big idea? Just forget about it, Otto. But, hey, listen. That person was not your sister. Even so, traveler, if you follow every fork on the road, you'll die before you reach your goal. Don't feed me platitudes. Fine. We can do this the hard way if you want, but... Oh. Now that I have magic again, there's no way you'll find your way out of this alleyway if I don't want you to. Distortions and illusions are my specialty, as you know. She's cool. The sun is hanging low in the sky by the time I finished impotently gnashing my teeth and emerged from the alleyway. Oh yeah. I'm feeling sullen as we make out our way back to the meeting point through streets that are still as busy as this late hour as they were when we arrived. As busy at this hour. Sorry. My reading skills today are not... I'm not at best with my reading skills today. I can't get used to this place. There's too much coarse laughter, too many raised voices, poverty and prosperity all rolled together. Just too much of everything. It's overflowing with life and hastening to death. There's no place for a stopped wheel like me here. Hey, friend! Oh, this guy is flamboyant. Is he like wait. I don't remember. So in Witcher there is this guy called Jaskier in Polish and Lutik in Russian, but I don't remember his name in English, unfortunately. I'm drawn out of my musing by a suspicious-looking fellow who seems to be addressing me. Yes, you! I overheard you saying you're looking for busty babes. This is great. I'm not even in the entertainment quarter anymore, yet I'm still getting hassled by these tedious pimps. Unlike the others I encountered, I don't think I'd win the resulting fight if I decided to slug him in the face, either. He's about half a head taller than me and unusually well built under his gaudy clothes for someone who lives off women. Yeah, Dandelion. Oh, hi. Hello. Renat. Yeah, Dandelion, I think. Yeah. You know, when I was playing Witcher, I played with the Russian translation and with Polish voices to feel the Slavic spirit, so to say. And, you know, it was nice, it was very good. By the way, if you have played Witcher before, can you please tell me and others about your experiences? How did you play it? Did you like it? It would be interesting because you know, this city in this visual novel a bit like reminds me of Novigrad. So yeah, I can feel the vibe, although the visual novel itself is more inspired by old Japanese RPGs rather than, you know, some Western stuff. I'm not sure too. Okay, in Polish with subs. Cool game. Yeah. I haven't read Sapkowski before I started playing Witcher 3, and I almost haven't played Witcher 1 and 2, but yeah, I was fascinated by the game and I finished it, well, at least one time. I finished at least 2 DLCs. Yeah, good old times. Okay, let's continue. Whether or not I'd win the fight should be beside the point in cases like this. But when it comes down to it, I guess I'm as cowardly as everyone else. What was I trying to prove, playing the hero back there? I'm certainly indulging in self-pity, but I can easily frame this problem in practical terms. That is to say, do I have what it takes to rescue Winnie? For newcomers here, the guy has set to a journey to save his big sister, who's not his actual sister. She just appeared at some moment in his life, and he was a teacher back in the village that he is from. So he went on a journey and he met Switch. I hope that we will meet her again soon, because like she went to do her own business, and who's really lovely. Yeah, that's right, busty babes. Yep, I'm all about those big old titties. I mutter these stupid meaningless replies while my mind, as if trying to escape, drifts towards the subject of tonight's dinner. With all the gold we're carrying, we'll be able to eat and drink like kings. Why not? You're in luck, then. Our average bust is the biggest around. Whoever it is you're looking for, we've got him. What? Is this guy still here? Not whatever, but whoever. He's put a strange emphasis on that choice of words. Wait a second. Interesting. Let's go, Otto. I think you've visited enough brothels today. Look tired. Lead the way, friend. The man ducks down an alleyway and I follow him obediently, leaving common sense back in the street. Yes, isn't this a rather bad idea? Am I about to get a knife pulled on me again? Yeah, and for newcomers, I want to remind that there is a strange knight in black armor who kidnaps women with big titties. That's it. That's why they're now going around and asking around in brothels, like if there have been cases when girls were kidnapped, something like this. Just as I'm about to turn tail and run, the man turns first. His aspect has changed somewhat, but not for the worse. I have the sudden impression that he isn't a pimp at all, but is in fact an honest man disguised as a pimp. It's a good thing I found you first. Claps a heavy hand on my shoulder. Friend, you've got about as much guile as a sack of potatoes. Yeah, Otto is naive. I'm guessing you're not a pro. A pro what? An adventurer. Not one of the city's, obviously. Huh? What's wrong with the city's adventurers? I have to start from here? The guild here is corrupt. They're in the beast's pocket. Our friend went to the guild. That's not good. We should hurry, come on. The man sets off down the alley again with a hustle on. I'm about to follow when Iko grabs my ear again. Wait. Ow! Stop following this strange man. Stop pulling on my bloody ear! What's the hold up? Just who are you exactly? The man sticks his thumb up and flashes a roguish grin. A bosom body. Huh. Oh, Switch again. She's here. Our lovely friend. Thankfully, Switch does not prove hard to find. She's standing just outside the guild hall, the failing light catching on the facets of her gleaming red armor. Otto, you're back early. What do you think of my new gear? What do you think of my new gear? Nice, right? New? How's it any different from... never mind that. You're their friend? Yeah, this is the best ever armor out there. She seems to like it very much. We ought to make ourselves scarce. Follow me. We follow the man along a winding, rabbit-warren of a route to a little tavern deep within the shadow of the gigantic tower. He guides us around to the back entrance of the establishment, up and away from the noises of rowdiness and revelry coming from the bar, to a sparsely furnished but rather agreeable private room on the first floor. The man who introduces himself as Faber fills Switch in on the situation within the city's guild. So it's like that, is it? It seems as though I place too much faith in the integrity of the Adventurers Guild. It's nothing more than a kennel for the beast's dogs. There are spies on the streets as well. So, one way or another, the Crown knows why we're here. They really are the ones behind these kidnappings, then? It's more accurate to say that the beast herself is the one responsible. What do you mean by that? Well, she's the de facto ruler of this country, she's not actually the reigning monarch, as she's yet to be officially coronated. But I risk digressing from the main point. Collecting women seems to be a hobby of hers. A hobby? I don't want to imagine. Whether it's men or women, you humans are all as bad as each other. Look who's talking here. The nymph who were collecting adventurers and turned them into a godly abomination. Some bloody cursed tree with black magic and stuff. Winnie's in the palace then. I walk over to the window and gaze out at the tower. I have to crane my neck to see to the top. How do I get in there? Hold on there, friend. Your sister isn't the only one we need to rescue. This isn't going to be an easy job. I hadn't thought of that. Just how many women are there in this collection? At least 10. Someone you know in there too? Yeah, my girl is in there. It's making me sick with worry. She's a real crybaby. I shudder to think what that despot is doing to her. I have a silence hanged over the room. I'm ashamed to admit it now, but I actually fought on the beast's side in the war last year. We thought she'd make things better for those of us in the northern province, but nothing changed. All that blood was spilled for absolutely nothing. Darkness has fallen over the city. My companions have left to pursue their own affairs. I remain on our base of operations, still seated at the table, my mind heavy with various musings as I stare at the collection of maps and blueprints of the palace and environs that Faber provided. They seem rather comprehensive. Just where did he get these? You're still here? Are those maps so interesting? Very interesting. Oh, that's cute. Iko drifts over to me and touches down on the table, looking like a doll standing on the floor plan of a doll-sized house. I consider the little fairy. She came all this way because she feels indebted to me, isn't it? Compared to Switch, who has her obligations to the guild, or whoever it is she actually working for, and Faber, who seems intent on rescuing everyone, Iko is the one most likely to go along with the notion I've been gestating in my brain. Although I'm not exactly sure what it is yet, I'm hesitating to look directly at it. I don't think it's going to be possible to rescue everyone the beast has kidnapped. It seems like a tall order. To be quite honest, I'm only interested in getting Winnie back. As soon as I say it, it becomes clear in my mind. I feel bad for Faber, but he shouldn't be trying to rescue anyone except his girl anyway. What's wrong with only trying to protect what you can? Why overreach and lose everything? You've taken what I told you this afternoon to heart. It's important to be realistic. What do you have in mind, Otto? I want you to do me a favor. Okay. So, in short, you're asking me to go right into the lion's mouth alone. You're the best one for the job. You said you wanted to make yourself useful. Here's your chance. If you can communicate my intent to Winnie and escort her outside, then rescuing her will be that much easier. I suppose this is one way I can repay my debt. What does your sister look like, anyway? Well, she's got big boobs. They've all got big boobs. Soft thighs. Just what kind of relationship do you two have? Yeah, he still calls her his sister, but like, he knows the weight of her boobs. Otto. You lucky skibbe. Actually, I don't want to know. Give me something more specific. Pointy ears? They're not as pointy as yours, though. Heh. Heh. What a weird thing to be smug about. She normally wears glasses. Her eyesight is terrible. What else? Oh, she's got really big... yeah, you already told me about her boobs. Hair. Really big hair. Okay, I think I have enough to work with. Let's rock. Iko takes off into the warm night air, tiny against the massive shape of the tower. I'm about to see to my own mission when a hand grabs my shoulder. A thrill of guilt runs down my spine. It must be Faber or Switch. But what do I have to feel guilty about? Just what are we playing at? Shh! Keep your voice down. Switch brings her voice down to a whisper, but her tone is still harsh and accusatory. You're sneaking off to rescue your sister on your own, aren't you? That's why I came here in the first place. I'm not some heroic adventurer like you. I can't save everyone. That self-serving pragmatism would serve you well as a certain type of adventurer. You don't have to come along. I set off this journey alone, and I can finish it alone as well. What's gotten into you? I don't have time to indulge in some kind of hair-brained harem heist. Faber may be okay with twiddling his thumbs while some scoundrel does this and that to his family, but not me. Cool your head a bit. What would have happened to you if I had just sat down and had a good think when you were captured by those monsters in the forest, huh? Switch's cheeks color a little. I love your expression. It's like, oops. That's a dirty move to use. Keep your voice down, you cheeky brat. Listen, you. Things may have worked out well that time, but 99% of the time, rushing headlong into trouble without a plan will just end up getting you killed. It's not like I don't have a plan. I'm gonna get inside the palace grounds through that secret passage Faber showed us, and in the meantime, Ikko is gonna find Winnie and guide her past the guards to my location. Guide her past the guards? How exactly? She can conceal her with magic. That's so ridiculous. You weren't there when we... never mind. After that, we're gonna head over to the Dragon's Roost and steal us a dragon. Have you ever ridden a dragon? I didn't have time to explain every detail to you. I'm out of here. Things to go. Wait, you idiot! I limp into the night with Switch hot on my heels and cursing me out. Okay, she got her armor back, yeah. Okay, I think that I'm starting to feel a bit tired, because, well, too much text, and I have some other business to do. So I think that we can call it a day today. We can stop just at a very nice scene, I guess. Well, I have a feeling that after this scene can be really short, quite abrupt and funny, maybe tragic. I don't know, but I'd say this one should be funny. But maybe it will be, I don't know, quite a serious attempt to save the Winnie, which probably end up being a failure. So let's see it next time. Okay, guys, thank you for coming here today. It was really nice that you visited my stream and, yeah, enjoyed this game together with me. If you want to read more, if you want, you may watch previous videos, and just if you missed something in the plot of this game, or just wasn't here back then. And next time, maybe I can stream on this weekend, but I guess that instead of Queen Beast, I would rather play something else, and I would continue Queen Beast the next week, probably. Okay, anyway, thank you. Okay, we can look at this map later. Yeah, the map of Byron. And let's save the game here. Okay. So, have a nice evening, or morning, or night, wherever you are. And see you next time. Goodbye.